and welcome to our final edition of Marquette In Motion for this school year. We're your hosts, Morgan Minster
and Amber Krieg. On today's show, we'll be reporting on the grade school Underground Railroad simulation, talking about the United We Build campaign, playing a game with some of our reporters,
and as always, updating you on Marquette sports and events. But first, it's time to check in with Brooklyn to see who she'll be interviewing this week for the senior interviews.
Actually, Morgan, Brooklyn has already interviewed all of this year's seniors. So this week, she'll be interviewing our principal, Mr. Kaiser.
Very fitting for our last show.
That's right, Morgan. It is our last show of the year. That means that graduation can't be that far away.
It's only 7 days away. Can you believe it?
I definitely can't. But even after we leave Marquette, I'm sure that we'll bring all of our memories with us.
Especially if you bought a yearbook. This year's yearbook staff has been working long hours to make sure our yearbook perfectly encapsulates the 2015-2016 year at Marquette.
This semester, our editors, myself and Lauren, as well as the entire staff have been creating visually interesting layouts, collecting data, perfecting all of our pages, and even submitting some of our pages for print.
The theme of this year's yearbook is completely original, a theme that celebrates all the new aspects of this school year, including the new building and our new principal.
And a continuing theme of the yearbook will be the number 16, which will be hiding out in various titles throughout the book as the letters I and G. For example, the words original, fight, and right.
I've always loved opening up the yearbook and reading the interesting feature stories at the beginning of the book. What can we expect this year?
We have plenty of fun pieces for our readers. We'll be doing a month-by-month summary of the school year, analyzing some social media posts, and presenting school stats in an infograph.
Also this year, we will be reintroducing Senior Profiles, which is a small bio for each member of the senior class containing some fun information about the students.
Seniors were asked questions about their dream job, dream vacation destination, their future plans, their most embarrassing moment, and even their childhood crush. In that feature, I was able to share my proudest moment, going 2 years without wearing a hoodie.
And I was able to share a job I'd want for a week only, being Beyonce. I can't wait to get my copy of the yearbook. And for students who haven't yet ordered theirs, it's still not too late. The yearbook staff will be accepting yearbook orders until the last day of school, May 27th.
The cost of the yearbook is $50, and orders can be given to the yearbook staff or to yearbook supervisor, Mrs. Julie Schrader. And that's a great price for a book full of countless pictures, interesting quotes, and unforgettable memories.
Some of my favorite pictures have always been the senior class's baby pictures. This year, each member of the senior class turned in a picture of themselves from the first year or two of their lives.
These pictures were collected for a game of Guess That Baby. It's an interactive aspect of the yearbook that allows readers to guess who each of the baby pictures is of, with the answers featured in the back of the book.
This certainly has been a year for the books, and I've made so many great memories. Some of mine have actually come from recording Marquette In Motion.
I know what my favorite Marquette In Motion memory is.
What would that be, Amber?
I've always loved listening to Jam Time. Take it away, girls.
Me too.
We've always loved listening to you girls too, but it's time to get down to business. Today we'll be discussing the Underground Railroad simulation that Mrs. Upman organized for her 4th grade students.
The Underground Railroad references the routes and safe hiding places for a slave on his or her way to the North and freedom.
Mrs. Upman used the help of the entire school to make the simulation realistic, enlisting the help of middle and high school students to be conductors on the route, and Mr. Klein and Mr. Coos, who were bounty hunters.
And if the 4th grader was caught, that group had to go back to the beginning and try again.
This Underground Railroad simulation took place on Wednesday. Each group had a sheet with the order of rooms they had to go through, and each room had a different symbol signifying just how 4th graders could safely pass.
For example, if a room had a quilt blocked by it, students needed to knock on the door and say, "We are friends of friends." These words would allow the room to be a safe haven until the coast was clear.
In rooms marked with a bow-tie quilt square, everyone was given a white, oversized shirt to put on as a disguise.
In rooms marked with a bear paw quilt square, everyone was given a saltine cracker to eat.
The students had a great time getting a taste of the Underground Railroad at Marquette.
But not to worry, safety was a top priority throughout the project. Workers stationed throughout the school instructed the students to be silent and not to run, even if they were about to be caught.
Speaking of running, I think our segment is running out of time. We'll catch you all next year. With Marquette In Motion, this has been
Jam Time!
With Justina Denlinger,
Allison Hager,
Megan Litter,
and Mackenzie Kilberg. Don't go away yet. Marquette In Motion will be back after these messages.
Welcome back to Marquette In Motion. Christina Coos is here with her report on United We Build.
Last week, K-12 students were introduced to Marquette's newest campaign, United We Build, in an attempt to begin a fundraising effort that will add much-needed facility space to our school, parish, and community. Students were asked to bring in as many dollars as they are in grade level. First graders bring in $1, second graders bring in $2, and so on. This system was developed in an effort to allow younger students to have the opportunity to break into their piggy banks, donate their own money, and know that they had a hand in contributing to the building of Phase 3 of our school. A first grader donated $5.20 and explained that it was his tooth fairy money that he had been saving up and he knew just how to use it. If everyone gave the recommended amount, we would have raised over $1,300. Marquette Student Council also agreed to donate $1,250. Students exceeded their expectations and raised a total of $2,688.05. In the completed project, a recognition board will hold a brick that will read, "The Students of Marquette 2015 to 2016." Thank you to all students who contributed to United We Build. We look forward to watching this project progress and seeing the Marquette and St. Joseph's campus grow. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Christina Koos.
Thanks for that report, Christina. I'm so glad that we've united to build here at Marquette. And in celebration of my final week here at Marquette in Motion, we've united for a final round of quizzes in lieu of my usual You Ask, We Answer segment. All of the questions that I'll be asking the host today pertain to various aspects or locations that the seniors will be visiting on their senior trip. The first question is for Christina. Our seniors will be visiting New York City. What fruit term is often used to refer to the city?
Seriously.
An apple.
With the term being?
Big apple.
That's correct. The next question is for Amber. Which famous musician sang of New York in his hit with these lyrics? "Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it."
Is that Frank Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra, that's correct. This piece was originally written for Liza Minnelli in 1977 for the film entitled New York, New York. The next question is for Brooklyn. What is the name of the commercial intersection and center of New York City? I think I know. Times Square. Very good, that's correct. The next question I have is for Jonathan. Our seniors will be making a stop in Mount Vernon at the beginning of the trip. Which significant historical figure called this location home?
I really do not know, and I'm really confused as why Morgan and Amber are dancing right now.
Maybe we could have one of them answer for you.
First President G-Wash.
I'm not sure what to say right now, but George Washington, the first and only unanimously elected president, was born in Mount Vernon. Now, Sam, even though the President of the United States now lives in the White House in Washington, D.C., Washington himself did not live there. Where did Washington live while he was serving as president?
Did he live in Pennsylvania?
Right state? Do you have a city?
Pittsburgh.
No. Does anyone else want to chime in?
Philadelphia.
It is Philadelphia. We would give you half a point, Sam. We will not be visiting Philadelphia on our class trip, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to Morgan. Abraham Lincoln was shot at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. while viewing which production?
A play called Our American Cousin.
That's correct. I knew I could count on Morgan with the difficult questions. And our final question today, the last question of my segment, is for all of our reporters. Which segment of Marquette in Motion will we miss most next year?
Segment one! Jam time!
We'll let our audience be the judge of that. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for always asking and allowing me to answer. Signing off one last time for Marquette in Motion, this has been Lauren Kilberg. Don't go away, our final segment of the year will be on after these messages.
We're back with Marquette in Motion. Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig are here with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, Morgan. At the beginning of this week, the Marquette track athletes found out what they had eagerly been waiting for, the state qualifying results. For Marquette boys, Tanner Sevening qualified in the long jump, being the first Marquette track athlete to qualify in a field event. Tanner also qualified with the shuttle hurdle relay team, with Zach Kentman, Caleb Schrader, and Blaine Banowitz. For girls, Alyssa Kramer qualified in the 15 and 800 meter run, Anna Ambrosing in the 4x1 meter relay, and Marissa Schrader and Anna qualified for state in the shuttle hurdle relay. These athletes are competing this weekend at Drake Stadium in Des Moines. We wish good luck to all the state competitors. Also, the Marquette soccer team has had 2 games this past week, and they faced West Dubuque on Monday at home. Unfortunately, the team lost 3-0 in a tough match. The soccer team rallied from the loss Monday to fight against Prince of Peace Tuesday night. All of the fans were at the edge of their seats when the teams went into double overtime, which is when the teams kick penalty shots. In a heartbreaking final shot, Marquette unfortunately lost 2-1.
Both the girls and guys golf teams have had their regional golf meets this past week. The boys' meet was last Friday and the girls' meet was on Monday. All of our golfers did well, but despite their hard work this season, they were unable to move on to their district meets. We would like to thank all of our golfers, with many that are just starting golf this year, for their dedication and effort. In other news, most of Marquette's senior class is going to be leaving for their senior trip to Washington, D.C. after a 4:15 Mass tonight. They will be arriving back to Bellevue next Saturday on the 28th. Meanwhile, the rest of Marquette will be ending their school year this Friday, May 27th, and I'm sure that all the teachers will miss them terribly. And finally, the seniors' graduation Mass will be at 2 o'clock on Sunday the 29th.
For the last time this school year, this has been Sam Peters
and Jonathan Herrig
with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, boys. Now let's turn it over to Brooklyn Moore for her segment, No More.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore, and I'll be interviewing Marquette's very own principal, Mr. Jeffrey Kaiser. I'm sorry to say this is my last interview of the year, but on the bright side, it's sure to be a good one. So, Mr. Kaiser, a lot has happened since I interviewed you at the beginning of the year. One being your father now. How's the little guy doing?
Well, we had little Creighton on April 17th, and he was born at 8 pounds, 8 ounces. He just had his 1-month appointment yesterday, and now is weighing in at 11 pounds, 5 ounces, so he's not afraid to eat. Mom and baby are doing very well.
That's good. So, besides exciting personal changes, what are some things that have changed and grown at Marquette this past year?
I think that Marquette is certainly a different school now than it was at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, when I started here, we started conversations with teachers that went in terms of what is a grade and what does it represent. We spent time focusing on our mission statement and following each one of the pillars that make our school what it is and finding ways for students to identify with those pillars. On top of that, our teachers worked on videos this year to bring their classroom out to the world. And of course, our school is about students. Our students are different people from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And with that, our school becomes stronger and better, just as we hope our students do.
Okay, not only have we had much change this past year, but this upcoming year, more building is going to take place. Could you give us some insight to the process?
We are starting phase 3 of our building project, and it's called United We Build. United We Build is going to make our school safer, as well as add facilities that are much needed. For example, right now our students have to walk across the street in order to go to the cafeteria, something that everybody has to do every day. And if it's raining, or if it's windy, or if it's very cold, it takes time. And that's instructional time that's lost. Once this project is done, we'll have an indoor cafeteria where students don't have to go outside. We'll also have a practice gymnasium as well as a community center where different people throughout the community can come and use the center for various activities, including funeral dinners, card parties, so on and so forth. It should be a huge project, and our students did a great job too in helping to support that project, and 100% of our staff also supports the project.
Over the past year, what did you like most about Marquette?
It would be difficult to identify one thing that I like the most. I love working with the teachers, and there is certainly a joy I feel each time I talk with a teacher that shares their passion and dedication to our school. When I talk to parents and hear ideas on how our school could improve and ways that Marquette helped their children grow, I can't help but feel a tremendous sense of gratitude for parents that send their students here and trust us every day with their students. And of course, probably if I had to say one thing, I would say it would be working with our students. They do tremendous work, and it starts in kindergarten when they're learning songs that to practice different key themes that they've learned, and then taking every single year and growing a little bit more in academically, growing a little bit more in God's love until just they become seniors and it's difficult to see them go.
Well, thanks for letting me interview you, Mr. Kaiser, and thanks to all our listeners. For Marquette In Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore.
Thanks for reporting, everyone. We've had a year full of fun and interesting stories with creative delivery. Great job, everybody.
And thanks again for listening. At Marquette In Motion, we are very appreciative of all the community support we get from our listeners.
And to all of our senior reporters, we are so grateful for all of the work you've put in. I think I speak for all of us when I say it's been great.
Well, Amber, I think it's time for us to go. Signing off for Marquette In Motion for the last time, this has been Morgan Minster.
And Amber Krieg.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
in motion.